So, hey, Jonathan, one thing we didn't talk about last hour that we really need to circle back to, because there was, speaking of lying going on in the Trump administration, unfortunately, the lying and the politicalization of Intel was just breathtakingly dangerous. You have Bill Barr, O'Brien, and Ratcliffe, who all lied and said that this was Ratcliffe pre-election, quote, China is using a massive and sophisticated influence campaign. He knew that was a lie. O'Brien knew that was a lie. Barr said, oh, I looked at the intelligence. And then he lied through his teeth. Lied, the Attorney General of the United States, going out of his way to lie through his teeth about Intel. All for political purposes. All for political purposes. And now we find out this week that not only were they being liars at the time, but you had people in the Intel community who were nervous about the fact that they were going to use their work, go out, twist it out of its proper context, and start spreading lies for Donald Trump's re-election campaign. And that's what the Attorney General and the head of the Intel community and Trump's national security advisor, all three did. Deeply shameful, deeply dangerous.
That's right, Joe. We'll take a step back here. It was during the election where these Trump officials you just mentioned all touted the idea that China was trying to interfere with the election and was trying to hurt President Trump's re-election chances. They were grouped in with the efforts by Russia and Iran also to interfere with the electoral process last year. But now we have a report from the intelligence community confirming, indeed, Russia was trying to meddle with the process and, again, favored Donald Trump, just like it did in 2016. We have Vladimir Putin in Helsinki say on the record he hoped Trump would win, even as he denied the election interference, and the president believed him, or at least he says he did. But now we know that China wasn't involved. That China, according to the intelligence community, made a calculated decision, that they decided not to interfere because they thought the blowback, the risk was too great, that they didn't want to come in, that they were not going to take any efforts. And certainly they were not trying to hurt President Trump's chances. They basically sat this out. And now this means, again, the credibility of the U.S. intelligence organization, the apparatus, those who worked for Trump, again, deeply damaged and with widespread ramifications going forward from Ratcliffe and O'Brien and Bill Barr. Attorney General Barr, of course, who some praised for his performance during the transition when he would not back Donald Trump's baseless claims of election fraud, that he had actually had won the 2020 race. But let's remember, this is far from the first time that Barr has shaded material in a favorable light for the president. He was, of course, one of his first acts on the job was taking the Mueller report and lifting pieces of it and providing in his letter to the public an incomplete depiction of what Mueller found, which, of course, shaded public perception in a very favorable way for Donald Trump. So this seems to be, just, Joe, the latest and maybe last example of a damaging decision by Barr and others in an attempt to help Trump but hurt the credibility of their offices and the government as a whole.
Well, and you're right. He took the Mueller report. In the words of William Rehnquist, he wrenched their words from their proper context. He testified before the House and the Senate several times, lied in front of the House and the Senate, committed perjury. I never really figured out why they didn't try to charge him for that. And then Claire McCaskill, here you have, and I do want to circle back to what Jonathan said. A lot of people praising Bill Barr for supposedly finding his bearings near the end. Too late if you're Attorney General of the United States of America and you're using that position to purposely spread lies. And here, Barr went out of the DOJ into the Intel community. He claims to have seen intelligence and then lied about it, spread lies about what the Intel community had found, along with Ratcliffe and O'Brien, saying that China was basically trying to do the same thing that Russia was doing. Now, we found out that Iran was doing it. They could have brought up Iran. Why do they feel like they had to lie about China? Why didn't they just tell the truth about Iran? Could have done that because Iran tried to get involved. But again, here's Bill Barr again. Bill Barr again, showing why he's the worst attorney general ever. John Mitchell looks like Atticus Finch compared to Bill Barr.
I think there's also a tendency for people to say, well, let's turn the